Right, just to make sure we're in focus this time, because I remember. And hopefully, shit. Oh shit. Okay, mud. Did you get me? I don't know if you got me. You should definitely have me now though, right? Yeah. That should suffice. Jesus, that is stupidly bright. Now, pardon me. There we go. I hope so. I am in Princes Park. I have just done a 5k. It was not too bad because I jogged with Nico and he's not very fast, which was actually quite nice for me because the other 4 people ran off quite fast together. They didn't run off, they were faster than myself and Nico. And at one point, well, throughout the run, at the park section of the run, because I jogged from the hostel, I was, for the majority of the park section, I was slowing down a bit for Nico, which was nice, and you know, made me feel a bit better, because when I went on a run last time, it was full of anxiety. Well, I had a lot of anxiety within because I was comparing myself to how I could run and comparing myself to those that were overtaking me. Comparison is a thief of joy, and it's just pity that, well, not pity, it's just part of who I am, perhaps potentially who we are as people, having egos. That's that pretty much. No more jibber jabber about that. General update shit, I don't know, the days are just flowing by, they are just sliding by. Today, I mean, it's 7, I don't know what time it is, 20 to 7, and it's just been a whiz. I've done 45 minutes of work. I have written 1,000 words for something that I'll talk about soon. I chat a lot of shit to Travis about writing and literature and just writing styles, and he was telling me about literary journals to apply to that I can submit short stories to and stuff to potentially get published, which would be, yeah, it's changed my perspective on things in terms of writing. I'll talk about that in a minute. I woke up okay this morning, 9 o'clock. I've been waking up between 6:30 and 10 to 8 the last few days. Today, I don't know, I just woke up later for whatever reason. Had a good sleep. Maybe it's just been a culmination of, you know, just catching up on sleep over the last few days, because I've been sleeping maybe just over 7 hours and I usually kind of need 8. Yeah, I have a lot on my mind that just whizzes around. Over the last 4 days or 5 days, I've been meditating between 35 and 40 minutes. So I started off at 40, then I went 35, 40, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. No. What did I do today? 39? Maybe 6 days then. Maybe I did 39 minutes today. Anyway, I've been meditating for that much because I've started reading a book. I've started reading a book, The Mind Illuminated, and I've kind of spread myself thin in terms of reading. Just finished a William Beckett book, Malone Dies. Then I read Dostoevsky's Bobok. Then I read, in reverse chronological order. Then I read, before that, The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe, and that was after I finished another book, which was, I don't know, what book did I finish before that? Maybe I just gave up reading The Peregrine. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, now I'm reading a book by Hilda Hilst called Hilda Hilst, yeah, called like the dog that ate the bone or something. It's fucking great so far. It's like a short story again. I've been reading multiple short stories just because I have an anxiety about not reading enough books this year. So I'm trying to catch up by filling it with shorter stories. it's nuts, like this egotistical thing. But when I get into a larger book or a tedious book that I'm not enjoying, that Samuel Beckett took a while to read. Malone Dies, which I've just finished yesterday. Whenever I'm getting into a more tedious book, I'm just like, I want to finish this so I can get on to the next book, rather than taking my time with it and trying to understand it. I'll actually be reading it like in anxiety, because I'll be feeling like, I need to finish this, or I want to finish this because I'm missing out on time reading something better. It's nuts. It really is strange that I can't just seem to take my time with things, and then I finish my day not having done a lot of work, not having studied and programmed enough. It's very odd. This morning, yesterday, should I say, I started a new book. At the moment, it's just called Tedium, which is just because that was a word repeated throughout the book of Disquiet, Sower, and I guess that's descriptive of my life at the moment. It feels kind of tedious. It's, quite interesting, because that's probably just because my eating's off and I'm not happy with my body image. That's probably one of the main reasons why I'm not enjoying life at the moment, because I don't feel like I'm exercising enough. I want to be jogging, I want to be eating very well, and I want to have a great morning routine, and because those things aren't in place, I just feel like my life has just faltered. I'm not enjoying so much my programming, I guess. The course I haven't done in a few days. I've been working on my Kindle project because I want that to be on my portfolio, and also the course content pertaining to JavaScript is just getting a bit boring, tiresome. I started a book yesterday, reading the first person. So far it's just whatever, it's like a stream of consciousness almost, describing things, and I got feedback on it by a guy called Travis, who I spoke about earlier. He is, I don't know what he is. He writes. He's been a reviewer, or he's worked for a literary journal anyway, like a magazine, and he's worked in actually reviewing articles sent in. So he's got some know-how, and I think he did literature at university, I think. He's been helpful. Sent me some literary journals that I can apply to. I don't know what I want, basically. Hashtag van life, huh? I guess I just need to keep trudging. I looked at flights today, going home. The cheapest is like 370 quid in the beginning of August. Maybe I won't have to do farm work to go home, to stay here longer, because apparently the visas are changing around in terms of UK people from the UK. There's a lot going on in my mind at the moment. Everything is everywhere. When I'm meditating, none of it feels very productive meditation, and I know that's a bad way looking at it, because as long as I'm doing the meditation, then it's fine, but it's not. I need to be focusing on the breath, because that is what develops my mindfulness, etc., my attention. I just find my mind being swayed. I'll be thinking about this or that. I'll be thinking of sentences just pertaining to many different things, and I'll be thinking like, that'd be good to write down. When I'm brushing my teeth, I'll be thinking of sentences. Words will come, combinations of words to describe things, actions, to describe, emotional states, will just come to my mind, and I want to write them down. My mind is very busy. I find myself in interactions weaker than I have been in a long time, in terms of I'm more submissive in interactions, like I'll justify for people for themselves, or I will take the responsibility in something that is not my responsibility, or I'll feel I have to break a silence out of feeling uncomfortable, out of feeling that the other person feels uncomfortable, so I want to alleviate their discomfort by breaking the silence. That's what goes on in my mind anyway. Just not great. I'm insecure about my body. I don't like walking around just in my underwear, and I've got these briefs as well. Oh my days. Oof. If you want to test how secure you are in your body, walk around a house with people who you're not that close to, and just in briefs. Briefs as in like pants, as in, they're not underwear, they're not boxer shorts. So that's a difficult one, especially when a girl sees you and pretends to be disgusted, or as a joke, and that's fine. It's just that she sees you and you're like, no matter her reaction, it doesn't matter, you're just insecure. That's a telltale sign of how secure you are in your body, and I'm not. And eating has been more difficult. Last night I cooked, which was good. It came out pretty well. I cooked a vegetable stew with like red wine and rosemary, and the substance was like carrot, and what was substantial was the carrot, the pumpkin, the potato. I cooked Moroccan lentils. It's really pretty good rice pudding, and then I got this raisin bread loaf thing for free from this place called Lentil as Anything, which is a place where you can literally go in and pick up food and just donate if you want to. There's not a great selection, and a lot of it's out of date, but I'm kind of existentially hurting, I guess. I finished a jar of peanut butter. How random of a statement is that? But I didn't finish it. I actually fucking threw some of it away just because it was on my mind. It plays on my mind. It's nuts. If there's like free cake, it'll be on my mind, and I feel like I have to eat it, or else it just picks away at my mind. I just want to, you take your problems with you. I don't know what the balance is, because if you think about this just for a second, I know I've been everywhere with these thoughts, but if you think about this, like if you go to another country, or you go to like, let's say, a Buddhist retreat, and you say that'll fix you, then people would retort with, you take your problems with you, they'll say you're not going to fix yourself by running away from your problems. And I kind of believe that. I wanted to get myself sorted before I came to Australia, but at the same time I thought that living in a hostel, having my own space, I will have the space, I'll have the environment to sort myself out. But then if you're constantly around, stuff that exacerbates, or stuff that encourages you to exercise your negative habits, if you're living with a load of slobs, or if you're living in a place next to a bar and you're an alcoholic, then you're gonna fall. How can you expect yourself to do that well when you're in a place inconducive to your idea of a better person, your idea of your ideal self? So I don't know. I'm trying to just play around with trying to get myself better. Writing was fun today, but I feel like I should be programming, and when I'm programming, I don't feel like I'm doing it fast enough. I don't feel I'm good enough. I get stumped at some things, and I'm like, I'm not good enough to do this. So quite a lot of negative self-talk, which is difficult not to have. I mean, I think the best way would just be to fucking meditate at the beginning of the day for an hour, at the end of the day for an hour, and then like fucking 5 minutes every hour in between, just to help, what's the word? I can't think of the word, but to recalibrate myself, to bring myself back, to ground myself, that's the word, to ground myself, to help myself realise that it's not that I'm not going to die, it's not the end of the world. My dad can send me some money if I'm running low on cash. I can still go home. Then I'm scared that if I go home, I'll be in a bad environment. So yeah, I'm sorry for this ramble. It's been tedious for you to listen to. I appreciate it's been, and look, I'm just assuming it was bad. That's the thing, I'm assuming it was negative, and that's probably because I don't have a good self-image at the moment. It's mainly because of weight, which is due to not having great control, not having much control over my eating, which is due to I know not what exactly. So I'm just, going back to vegetarianism, trying not to buy anything that I can snack on, really. I'm not even buying much fruit because I'll just devour that within a day or two. Yeah, interesting. Maybe I just have to be like that for such a long time that I get out the habit of eating shit, and then I have to watch myself where I'm living, because even if I've gotten out of the habit of eating sugary stuff and whatever, if I'm around it, eventually I'll give in and then I'll start rebuilding that bad habit. That's pretty much how it goes. Like, if you're an alcoholic, let's say you were drinking from like a really young age, like you'd sneak into your dad's wine cup at 8, 9 years old, and you'd sneak drinks all until you were 16, and then you start drinking quite a lot. You've had that instilled into you at childhood. So maybe if you're an alcoholic at like 30 years old, you do like 6 months where you're completely away from alcohol, and then you feel like you've completely resolved that conflict, right, that inner conflict. Then you go back to being in an environment where there is alcohol and people are drinking, and maybe you don't, because you're like, no, that's not me anymore. But then after like maybe 3 months, you take a sip, and then you do it like a once a week thing where you just have like 1 beer and then 2 beers, and then maybe after 2 or 3 years, you're back in that fucking cycle again. Maybe because that's latent. Maybe because it can never completely go away, And is it repressing it? Can it be dissolved? Is it just repression, or is it dissolution? I don't know. Okay. Oh man, I'm gonna go home, code. I'm not hungry, but I'll probably eat eventually sometime tonight. I don't know what. I was looking at houses today. There was one for $125 a week, dirt cheap, but it was in the middle of nowhere. I think I was living maybe on my own or with 2 other people. I think that was the one, and the room looked super depressing. It was just a really shabby wardrobe, a single bed, and a desk, and it was just nothingness. And yeah, Nico was right when he criticised it, saying middle of nowhere. It's over an hour away from where I am now, out of the city, and it'd be depressing and I'd get lonely. So probably right. I don't know. Yeah, I'm in a pickle. It's an interesting pickle. Maybe I'm not in a pickle. Maybe I'm just saying I'm in a pickle. I don't know. Goodbye.